Hey everyone, on August 5th, Palantir Technologies CEO Alex Karp released a shareholder letter that said some pretty bold statements. I'm going to share those with you here in this video, and you might be surprised at how bold these statements actually were coming out from Palantir. Now, I will say the company has had tremendous success over the last several quarters and several years, and so there is some wiggle room, or there is some room for the CEO to take a victory lap here and make these bold comments. But let's take a look at what they are. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So starting with a statement about the enterprise software business more broadly, the CEO said, "The enterprise software business had for years been crowded with companies whose principal innovation was selling a product that was capable of little more than reincorporating and shuffling data around in what amounted to yet another storage system." So telling everyone like what the enterprise software business was selling people was a big nothing burger. They were just giving you nothing. They were just reshuffling things around, and what you were getting was actually nothing. Saying now, those companies, however, are being swept to the side. They attempted to seize the cultural and moral high ground at the expense of anything resembling a commitment to outcomes. Wow. Again, furthering that statement of saying they basically gave you nothing. They provided you close to zero solutions. They solved zero problems. They did nothing, basically. And they got sales because of the cultural and moral high ground. And maybe they said that the product or service had some performative capabilities, but in reality, it wasn't really demonstrating any result. Now, of course, you have to take this with a grain of salt because this is the Palantir Technologies CEO saying this. And of course, the CEO would want to diminish the competitors or diminish existing industry participants so that he can lift up his own company and the company that he's CEO of. He goes on to say, "The growth of our business has been re-accelerating steadily, and we see an unprecedented opportunity ahead to capture and build on that momentum." And that's true. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Palantir's performance has been improving. And not only that, but it's been improving at an improving rate. The rate of growth is increasing. So the company's growing revenue 27% in the most recent quarter, but that was much more than the 21% in the quarter before that, and then 20% in the quarter before that, and 17% in the quarter before that. So they've had this steady accelerating rate of growth, which is difficult to achieve in business, and let alone a business of this size. The CEO goes on to say that their business has also never been more profitable. They generated $134 million in net income in the most recent quarter, and that was the highest quarterly profit reported by Palantir Technologies in its 20-year history. So not only are they delivering on the top line with revenue growth, but they're also delivering on the bottom line with profit growth. They're basically firing on almost all cylinders. I won't say firing on all cylinders because the company's business, its international business, is not doing as well. Domestically, with the US and US allies and allied countries, the company's doing well. But outside of that, it's not performing as strongly. Still, overall, the company is demonstrating great growth in the top and bottom line. He goes on to say that there's an unrelenting wave of demand from customers for artificial intelligence systems that go beyond the merely performative and academic, meaning that businesses are hungry for solutions. Businesses want software that's going to improve their own business. They want software that's going to help them increase sales. They want software that's going to help them improve operations, reduce costs, improve productivity. They want tangible results from the software they are purchasing. They want to see tangible results. They don't just want to put out money without any results. And that's been more in focus ever since the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates in late 2022, where businesses, enterprises worldwide started paying greater attention to cost. Businesses undertook cost-cutting campaigns. They slashed jobs. They looked for areas where they can cut costs because they were paying more attention to that. Money wasn't cheap anymore. They had to actually conserve capital. They had to actually pay attention to these things, whereas previously it wasn't so important. The top line revenue growth was the most important factor for businesses before these higher interest rates took hold. So Alex Karp saying that the models with trillions of parameters that might be able to flawlessly mimic growth, but without more, they add little value to the enterprise. And so these large language models you've been seeing with, OpenAI and ChatGPT and others, they're coming out with these large language models, but for most businesses, they're not useful. They're not demonstrating any improvement in business operations in terms of the top or bottom line. Now, there are specific use cases where these large language models are incredibly powerful and incredibly helpful. One such use case is education. I teach at a university, and I'm seeing students everywhere on campus using ChatGPT. It's incredibly helpful as a learning tool, as a learning assistant. And that's one primary use case. And there's others like that use case, but using large language models is not for every business. It's not helpful for every business. I think of my business and what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. Large language models are not very helpful. They're not very value additive to my day-to-day tasks. And maybe that'll change next year or next quarter if their capabilities improve. But for now, it's not very helpful. And so that's what the CEO is talking about here, that these models with a trillion parameters might be able to do certain things, but for most businesses, they add little value. You want to be able to harness this proprietary data from a business to come up with solutions, right? If I was able to incorporate all of my data into the large language model and then ask it questions or try to get insight from my proprietary data, I would undoubtedly gain more value from that proprietary data than I would from that, trillion parameter model that can do all of these other things. And it's, of course, more costly to build those trillion parameter models than it would be to build a model based on enterprise data, proprietary enterprise data alone. And this is what the CEO is talking about here, that Palantir Technologies helps enterprises use their proprietary data to gain insights that turn into performance improvement, tangible results. And so they're willing to pay Palantir. If Palantir can go into a business and say, look, we can help improve your inventory management, and by improving your inventory management, we can lower your inventory storage cost and logistics and fulfillment cost and warehousing cost by $17 million this year alone, and then $20 million next year, for a total savings of $37 million over the next 2 years. Now, to do this service, we'll charge you $5 million. Of course, the enterprise would be willing to sign that deal because they see a close to $40 million improvement in their business profit, and they're paying only $5 million. And those are the kind of tangible solutions that Palantir has been delivering and which has been fueling its accelerating growth and accelerating success. So I can understand the Palantir CEO, Alex Karp, being optimistic, being happy about the company's results, and, letting people know about the success they are having. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.